What if everything you've been taught about the world, about science, religion, and the nature of reality was incomplete? What if there was a hidden body of knowledge, kept secret for thousands of years, that could change the way you see everything? A truth so powerful that it shaped the foundations of philosophy, spirituality, and even science, yet remains unknown to most people today. This isn't just another mystery from history. This is about a forgotten teacher, a lost wisdom, and a secret that has been buried beneath layers of myth, suppression, and secrecy. His name? Hermes Trismegistus. For centuries, his name has been whispered in secret societies, referenced in ancient texts, and encoded in symbols that only the initiated could understand. But why is he missing from mainstream history? Why do Freemasons, alchemists, and mystics revere his teachings while the rest of the world remains oblivious? The truth is, Hermes Trismegistus was no ordinary man. He was either a sage, a god, or something even more mysterious. His wisdom was so profound that it has influenced some of the greatest minds in history, thinkers like Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci, and Giordano Bruno. They all sought answers in his teachings, believing they contained the hidden laws of the universe. But these teachings were never meant for the masses. They were hidden, safeguarded, and passed down only to those deemed worthy. They were disguised in symbols, allegories, and cryptic texts. To those who couldn't decipher them, they seemed like mystical nonsense. But for those who understood, they were the blueprint of reality itself. So, who was Hermes Trismegistus? His very name is a puzzle. Hermes comes from the Greek god who was a messenger and a guide of souls. Trismegistus means thrice great, a title that suggests he had mastered three great arts: alchemy, astrology, and theurgy, spiritual magic. Some believe he was an ancient sage who lived thousands of years ago, teaching wisdom long before recorded history. Others think he wasn't a single person at all, but a symbol for a long line of enlightened teachers who carried the same secret knowledge. And then there are those who say he was not of this world at all, that his knowledge wasn't just discovered but given, gifted by beings beyond human understanding. Regardless of who he really was, one thing is undeniable: his teachings have endured. They have survived the fall of empires, the burning of the Library of Alexandria, the rise of religious institutions, and centuries of suppression. And now, at a time when the world is searching for deeper truths, they are resurfacing once again. If Hermes Trismegistus was so influential, why don't we learn about him in school? Why is his name missing from history books? The answer is simple: knowledge is power. Those who truly understand how the universe works, how reality is shaped, and how the mind influences existence hold an incredible advantage over those who remain in ignorance. Throughout history, kings, priests, and rulers have controlled knowledge to maintain power over the masses. They knew that if people understood the true nature of reality, if they knew how to harness their own power, they would no longer be so easy to control. So, the teachings of Hermes were not just forgotten. They were deliberately hidden. Some of his writings, like the Corpus Hermeticum, were nearly lost forever. The Emerald Tablet, which speaks of the unity of all things and the secret of transformation, became the foundation of Western alchemy. The Kybalion, a book written much later, summarizes the 7 universal laws that govern all existence. These texts were never meant to be widely available. They were preserved in secret societies, encoded in symbols, and only shared with those deemed worthy. Over time, the true meaning of Hermetic wisdom faded into obscurity, dismissed as myth or superstition. But what if the ancient Hermetic teachings were actually more scientifically accurate than we ever realized? At the heart of Hermeticism lies a simple but profound truth: reality is not what it seems. The world around us feels solid, fixed, and mechanical. But Hermes taught that everything is fluid, mental, and interconnected. He described a universe governed by laws, not the laws of men, but natural laws, principles that shape everything from the movement of galaxies to the thoughts in our minds. The first and most important law is mentalism, the idea that all is mind. This means that everything in existence is, at its core, a form of consciousness. Science is now catching up to this idea. Quantum physics suggests that the observer affects reality, that perception can shape outcomes, and that matter itself is not solid but a form of energy vibrating at different frequencies. Then there's correspondence, summed up in the phrase, as above, so below, as within, so without. This means that the patterns of the universe repeat on every scale. The spirals of galaxies resemble the spirals of seashells. The structure of atoms mirrors the structure of solar systems. Even our inner world, our thoughts and emotions, affects the reality we experience. Another key teaching is vibration, the idea that nothing truly rests. Everything is in motion. Your thoughts, emotions, and even your physical body vibrate at different frequencies. Have you ever noticed how negative emotions feel heavy while joy feels light? This is because everything, including emotions, operates on a vibrational spectrum. Understanding this allows people to change their state of mind, their health, and even their reality. The principle of polarity reveals that everything has its opposite, but these opposites are not separate. They are just different degrees of the same thing. Love and hate, light and dark, hot and cold, these are not separate forces, but different points on a scale. Understanding this allows people to transform one state into another. There is also rhythm, which teaches that everything flows in cycles. Just as there are seasons in nature, there are seasons in life. Those who understand this don't resist change. They ride the waves of life instead of being controlled by them. The law of cause and effect shows that nothing happens by chance. Every action has a reaction. Every cause leads to an effect. Those who master this law stop being victims of life and start becoming the creators of their own destiny. And finally, gender, which doesn't refer to male and female, but rather the balance of energies present in all things. Creativity, logic, emotion, and action, all of these are expressions of universal balance. By understanding and harmonizing these energies within ourselves, we can unlock greater potential. These ideas are not just ancient philosophy. They are the foundation of how reality works. Today, modern science is beginning to validate what Hermes taught thousands of years ago. Quantum mechanics, neuroscience, and psychology are all discovering that the mind is far more powerful than we ever imagined. The reason most people feel stuck, lost, or disconnected is that they are unaware of these hidden laws. They go through life reacting to circumstances instead of shaping reality with intention. The teachings of Hermes Trismegistus offer a way out. They provide a roadmap for understanding how to take control of your mind, shift your energy, and align with the deeper rhythms of the universe. But these teachings have always been hidden for a reason. Those in power have no interest in a world where people wake up to their true potential. That's why, for centuries, this knowledge has been suppressed, dismissed, and ridiculed. Yet, now more than ever, people are beginning to remember. And if you've read this far, maybe you are one of them. Because once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. The only question left is, are you ready to go deeper? There is a force that moves through everything in life. It is a rhythm, a pattern that governs the world. The tides rise and fall. Seasons change. People experience ups and downs, gains and losses. Everything moves according to this invisible law. When people resist this rhythm, they struggle and suffer, feeling trapped by life's challenges. But those who learn to recognize and work with it begin to move with the flow instead of against it. They learn that the key is not to fight the difficult times, but to use them. Every loss is followed by a gain. Every challenge carries the potential for growth. Once you understand this, you stop feeling like a victim of life's changes and start shaping your own destiny. Another truth is that nothing happens by accident. Everything in life is connected by cause and effect. Every action, every thought, every decision creates a result. The universe does not operate on luck or coincidence. It operates on laws. Some people drift through life, reacting to circumstances, believing they have no control. But others understand that every choice they make sets something into motion. These people begin to take charge of their future. They no longer feel powerless because they know they are creating their reality step by step. There is also a balance of energies in everything. It is not about male or female in the biological sense, but about two fundamental forces that exist in the world. There is an active, pushing force, and there is a receptive, allowing force. These energies exist in nature, in thought, and in creation itself. When they are balanced, things flow smoothly, and life unfolds naturally. The ancients understood that creation is not random. It happens when these two energies come together in harmony. This balance determines the power of manifestation, the ability to bring ideas into reality. These hidden principles shape everything in existence. They influence every event, every experience, and every outcome in life. Yet, they are not taught in schools. They are not included in mainstream science or religious teachings. Why? Because understanding these principles gives people real power. Power to think for themselves, to take control of their own lives, to free themselves from systems of control. A world full of people who understand these laws is a world where manipulation and control no longer work. That is why these truths have been hidden for centuries. They have been guarded, passed down only to those considered ready to understand them. But they were never meant to be kept secret forever. They belong to everyone who seeks to understand reality. If you are still reading these, then you have already started to see beyond the surface. You have glimpsed something deeper. And now you have a choice. Will you take these principles and apply them to your life, or will you continue living under rules you don't understand? Because whether you believe in them or not, they are always working. The only question is, will you control them, or will they control you? For centuries, alchemy has been dismissed as a foolish attempt to turn lead into gold. People think of it as a failed science, something outdated and meaningless. But what if that was never the real purpose of alchemy? What if the philosopher's stone, the legendary object alchemists sought, was never a physical thing but a symbol for something much greater? What if the real goal was not about transforming metals, but about transforming the human soul? This is the great misunderstanding that has kept people blind to one of the most powerful spiritual teachings in history. The alchemists of the past were not primitive chemists. They were part of an ancient tradition that existed long before recorded history. They understood that true alchemy was not about changing the outside world. It was about changing oneself from within. The lead they sought to transform was not just a metal. It represented the heavy, unawakened human condition. It symbolized a person weighed down by fear, ignorance, and limitation. And the gold they sought was not just a precious metal. It symbolized enlightenment, the state of being fully aware, fully conscious, and fully in control of one's own reality. In Hermetic thought, alchemy is called the great work. It is the process of refining the soul, stripping away illusions, and reconstructing oneself into something greater. It is a journey of breaking free from old beliefs, letting go of false identities, and awakening to a new level of understanding. This is why it has always been hidden. It is not an easy path. It requires confronting one's own fears, doubts, and weaknesses. It demands a complete transformation of the self. True alchemy happens in three main stages. The first stage is a breaking down of the old self. This is often painful because it involves facing one's deepest fears and letting go of everything that no longer serves. Many people fear this part of the journey and resist it because it feels like losing everything they know. but in truth, it is only the death of what was never real in the first place. The second stage is purification. This is when the mind and soul begin to clear. False beliefs and illusions start to fall away, and a person starts to see the world as it truly is. They begin to understand that much of what they once believed was only an illusion, a mental prison created by fear and conditioning. The final stage is transformation. This is when a person fully awakens to their true nature. They become the master of their own reality. They no longer live under the control of their past or the expectations of others. They see the world for what it is, and they step into their full power. Throughout history, this knowledge has been hidden, distorted, and ridiculed. Modern society tells people that transformation is impossible. It teaches them that they are fixed, that their flaws and limitations are permanent, that they must accept the world as it is. But this is a lie. The truth is that people have the power to change, to evolve, and to become something far greater than they ever imagined. Hermetic alchemy teaches that the human soul is not bound by material laws, that what you are now is not what you must always be, that inside every person is the potential for something extraordinary. But this path is not for those who seek comfort. It is for those who seek truth. And truth is not always easy. This is why the philosopher's stone was never an actual object. It was always a symbol for the final stage of enlightenment, the perfected self, the unity of spirit and matter. Those who have understood this truth have changed the course of history. And now, once again, this knowledge is resurfacing for those who are ready to receive it. There exists a fragment of wisdom so powerful that it has been studied, debated, and hidden for centuries. It is a short, mysterious text containing a message so profound that it has shaped the course of alchemy, mysticism, and even modern science. This is the Emerald Tablet, a text attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. One of its most famous lines states, "As above, so below. As within, so without." These are not just poetic words. They are a formula, a law, a cosmic truth. This statement reveals that everything in reality is connected. The small reflects the large. The inner world reflects the outer world. Your thoughts do not simply react to reality, they help create it. Ancient civilizations understood this. The Egyptians built their pyramids to align with the stars because they believed that the heavens and the earth were connected. The Kabbalists mapped the mind of the universe onto the tree of life, believing that by understanding themselves, they could understand the cosmos. And today, modern science is beginning to confirm what ancient wisdom has always known. Quantum physics now shows that particles behave differently when observed, proving that consciousness itself influences reality. Scientists now understand that everything is made of vibrating energy, just as Hermetic teachings have said for thousands of years. Yet, this knowledge remains hidden from the mainstream.
Why?
Because to fully accept this truth would destroy the greatest illusion of all, the belief that people are powerless. If people truly understood that their thoughts, intentions, and consciousness actively shape their world, they would stop being controlled by external forces. This is why the Emerald Tablet has been studied in secret, because those who fully understand it do not remain asleep. They wake up. They see through the illusions that have kept them trapped. They step beyond the false limits of society. And once you wake up, you can never go back. Hermeticism is one of the most mysterious and powerful teachings in history. To understand it, we have to go back thousands of years to the ancient world. The wisdom of Hermes Trismegistus was not tied to just one culture or religion. Instead, it connected different civilizations, influencing Egyptian mystery schools, Greek philosophers, and even esoteric branches of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This knowledge has always been hidden, passed down through secret traditions and symbols, because it contains a deep truth. Reality is not what it seems. Those who understand the hidden laws of the universe can reshape their reality, unlocking knowledge that has been suppressed for centuries. Many secret societies, including the Freemasons and Rosicrucians, were built on Hermetic principles. Their symbols, rituals, and teachings are direct continuations of the knowledge first attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. One of the most famous Hermetic phrases, "as above, so below," is deeply embedded in Masonic teachings, initiations, and even the architecture of their lodges. The concept of the great work, which refers to the transformation of the soul, is central to Rosicrucian beliefs. Even alchemy, which these groups studied in secret, was simply Hermetic philosophy disguised as early chemistry. But why was this knowledge kept hidden? The answer is simple. Hermeticism teaches self-sovereignty. It tells people they do not need a priest, an institution, or any other authority to connect with the divine. It teaches that the mind is the creator of reality, that the soul is eternal, and that enlightenment comes from direct experience rather than blind faith. These ideas posed a direct threat to religious and political institutions, which relied on controlling people's beliefs and actions. When Christianity became the dominant religion, it absorbed many Hermetic ideas, but reshaped them to support religious authority. The concept of Christ as the Logos, or Word, the divine force that speaks reality into existence, mirrors the Hermetic principle of mentalism, which states that everything is a product of the mind. The Christian Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, mirrors Hermes' title of thrice great. Even the resurrection of Christ and the transformation of the soul echo the alchemical process of transmutation, where base metals, symbolizing human limitations, are turned into gold, representing divine enlightenment. The difference, however, is that Christianity positioned divinity as something external, something to be reached through obedience, faith, and the church. In contrast, Hermeticism teaches that every individual has the potential to awaken the divine within themselves. This idea was dangerous to religious institutions because it meant people could find spiritual truth on their own, without relying on the church for guidance. This is why Hermetic teachings were labeled as heresy, why the early Gnostics who held similar beliefs were persecuted, and why these ideas were driven underground. Despite this suppression, traces of Hermeticism survived in esoteric traditions across different religions. In Judaism, the Kabbalah describes a hidden structure of the universe, known as the Tree of Life, which reflects the Hermetic idea that reality is structured through divine emanations. In Islam, Sufism teaches that the material world is an illusion and that true knowledge comes from direct experience of the divine, echoing Hermetic wisdom. These teachings remained hidden because they challenged the established religious order. They were passed down secretly through symbols, coded texts, and oral traditions, ensuring that only those who truly sought the knowledge would find it. The suppression of Hermetic thought didn't stop with religion. When science began to rise, those in power ensured that it too was stripped of any connection to spiritual truth. The idea that consciousness plays a role in shaping reality was erased from mainstream thought. However, many of the greatest scientific minds were deeply influenced by Hermeticism. Isaac Newton, Johannes Kepler, and Giordano Bruno were all Hermeticists. They believed that understanding the laws of nature was the key to understanding the mind of God. But such ideas were dangerous. Giordano Bruno, for example, was burned at the stake, not just for suggesting that the universe was infinite, but because his views were too closely aligned with Hermetic thought. He believed that the mind was a reflection of the cosmos, that divinity existed within each person, and that the universe was alive with intelligence. These were not ideas that the ruling authorities could allow to spread. Yet, despite every attempt to erase or suppress it, Hermetic knowledge has survived. It lived on in the secret traditions of the Freemasons, in the texts of the alchemists, and in manuscripts smuggled out of burning libraries. And now, in the modern world, this ancient knowledge is resurfacing. Why? Perhaps because we are at a crucial moment in history. The world is becoming more chaotic, Institutions are losing their influence, and more people are questioning the reality they've been given. In times like these, the old knowledge returns. Those who seek the truth are drawn to it again. And once you begin to see through the illusion, there is no going back. One of the greatest illusions Hermeticism challenges is the nature of time itself. From birth, people are taught to measure their lives in hours, days, and years. Society conditions them to see time as a straight line moving from past to future. But what if time is not what we've been told? What if past, present, and future are not separate but exist all at once? What if Hermes Trismegistus revealed this truth thousands of years ago, only for it to be buried beneath dogma and distraction? Hermetic teachings say that time is not linear, but cyclical. It moves in spirals, not straight lines. The idea of a beginning and end is just an illusion created by limited perception. Everything that has happened will happen again, and everything that is happening now has already happened before. This is known as the principle of rhythm, the great cosmic law that governs cycles at every level of existence. The rise and fall of empires, the phases of the moon, the cycles of life and death, all of these follow the same eternal patterns. Ancient civilizations understood this. The Egyptians, the Hindus, and the Greeks all spoke of great cosmic ages where knowledge is lost and then rediscovered, where humanity rises to enlightenment only to fall into darkness again. Hermes taught that those who understand these cycles are no longer controlled by them. They step outside of time, realizing that the present moment contains all possibilities. The past is not gone. It is simply another layer of reality that can be accessed by those who learn to see beyond the illusion. And if time is an illusion, what does that say about death? The great fear that looms over humanity, the fear that keeps people clinging to material existence, is based on a misunderstanding. Hermes Trismegistus taught that death is not an end but a transition, a shift in frequency, a movement from one state of being to another. The body may perish, but consciousness, the true essence of the self, remains. It moves through dimensions, reincarnating, evolving, learning, and remembering in an endless cycle. This belief is reflected in many ancient traditions, but none stated it as clearly as the Hermeticists. They saw the soul as eternal, passing through different planes of existence, refining itself just as an alchemist refines lead into gold. This is why the symbol of the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail, represents eternity, rebirth, and the infinite cycle of existence. It is not just a metaphor. It is a direct representation of reality. Modern science is beginning to confirm what Hermes taught thousands of years ago. Quantum physics suggests that time does not move in one direction. Near-death experiences, consciousness studies, and research into altered states of awareness all point to the same conclusion. Consciousness is not produced by the brain. It exists independently of it. The body is just a vessel. The true self is infinite and beyond time. But this knowledge has been deliberately hidden. Society is built on the belief that time is limited, that people must race against the clock, that their existence is fleeting and should be filled with distractions, achievements, and external validation. Fear of death keeps people controlled, preventing them from questioning the deeper mysteries of life. Because if people knew the truth, if they truly understood that they are not their bodies, that they do not cease to exist when the body dies, the entire system of control would collapse. Fear would lose its power. Hermes did not just teach philosophy. He provided a roadmap for liberation. His writings, such as the Emerald Tablet and the Corpus Hermeticum, are not just historical texts. They are tools for awakening. They invite those who seek the truth to see beyond the illusion, to remember who they really are, and to break free from the constraints placed upon them. Most people will never question the illusion. They will live and die believing that time moves forward, that they are separate from the divine, that they are powerless. But some, those who seek, Those who feel the pull of something greater will step beyond it. They will realize that reality is not happening to them. They are shaping it. And once that realization dawns, there is no turning back. The world around you is not random. The struggles, the limitations, the hardships, they are not accidents. They are reflections. Your external reality mirrors your internal state. If you see chaos, suffering, and stagnation outside, it is because something within you is aligned with those conditions. But here's the truth. When you change the inside, the outside must follow. This is not wishful thinking. It is not just a positive mindset. It is a law of reality. Most people never take control of this law because they believe life just happens to them. They assume that their circumstances are dictated by luck, fate, or forces beyond their control. They move through life reacting, never realizing that they are creating the very reality they feel trapped in. But there is another way, a deeper truth that few ever recognize. Everything you experience, every success, every failure, every opportunity, and every setback is the result of a chain reaction set in motion by your own thoughts, actions, and energy. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are shaping your reality at all times. The masses live without realizing this, drifting from event to event, blaming the world for their struggles, unaware that they hold the power to change it all. But those who awaken to this truth begin to move with intention. They understand the hidden forces at play and start directing their lives instead of being controlled by circumstances. Yet, transformation does not happen overnight. It is a process, a journey, a gradual unfolding of understanding and mastery. Just as nature moves in cycles, day and night, the seasons, the tides, your life moves through rhythms of expansion and contraction, growth and decay, success and failure. The mistake most people make is thinking that a setback means they have failed. When things don't go as planned, they give up, assuming they are not meant to succeed. But those who understand the rhythm of life know that every fall is followed by a rise. Every challenge is followed by a breakthrough. This is why patience is so important. This is why persistence is necessary. The world does not hand over its secrets easily. It tests you, challenges you, pushes you to see if you are truly ready. And those who endure, who refuse to quit, will find that reality begins to shift in their favor. The universe bends to those who align with its laws. But beyond personal success, beyond achieving goals and shaping circumstances, lies an even greater truth, one that has been hidden from most people for centuries. The greatest deception ever imposed on humanity is the idea that we are powerless, that we are small, that we are at the mercy of forces beyond our control. This lie has been reinforced through governments, religions, and media. It is the foundation of a system that thrives on keeping people obedient, unquestioning, and dependent. Because the moment you realize the truth about yourself, the moment you understand that the same force that moves the stars and shapes the universe also exists within you, you become unstoppable. You no longer wait for permission. You no longer seek validation. You stop playing by rules designed to keep you bound. This is why Hermetic knowledge, the understanding of universal laws, has survived every attempt to erase it. It has been banned, hidden, suppressed, and buried beneath layers of religious and social conditioning. And yet, it always returns. It resurfaces when the time is right, when enough people begin to sense that something is missing, that the version of reality they have been given is incomplete. That time is now. You did not come across this message by accident. Something inside you is waking up, stirring, remembering. And once you see the truth, once you understand how reality really works, there is no going back. The world as we know it is changing. The old systems, built on fear, control, and deception, are losing their grip. A new understanding is emerging, not one that is dictated by external authorities, but one that is rediscovered by individuals reclaiming their sovereignty. For centuries, this knowledge was openly known. There was a time when people understood their connection to the universe, when they lived in alignment with its laws, when wisdom was freely available. But that time ended. The world fell into ignorance and darkness. People became slaves to a false reality, conditioned to believe they were powerless. The teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, the foundations of Hermetic knowledge, were not lost. They were taken, hidden, and safeguarded by those who understood that an awakened population cannot be controlled. But something is shifting now. The knowledge is resurfacing. More and more people are beginning to question the reality they have been given. More and more people are waking up to the fact that the life they were told to accept is not the only way. And that is why you are here. Deep down, you already know the truth. You feel it, even if you can't yet fully put it into words. You sense that the limits placed on you are not real, that you were not meant to simply exist, obey, and disappear, that there is more, something greater, just beyond the surface of what you have been told. But knowing the truth is not enough. This is the final and greatest illusion. Many people believe that just learning hidden knowledge will change them, that understanding how reality works will somehow set them free. But the Hermeticists understood something deeper. Knowledge is only potential. Action is what transforms. This is where most people fail. They search for truth, they find it, and then they hesitate. Because stepping into your true power means letting go of everything familiar. It means unlearning everything you were conditioned to believe. And that is not easy. Every awakened person faces this crossroads. You can either pretend you never saw behind the illusion, return to the comfort of what you've always known, and keep living as before. Or you can step forward into the unknown, into a reality where you are no longer a passive observer, but an active creator. Most will turn back, not because they don't believe, but because true transformation requires responsibility. It demands effort, and many would rather remain comfortable than step into their power. But some, the few who are truly ready, will not ignore the call. And when those individuals take the first step, the universe responds. Doors open. Paths appear. The right people, the right books, the right experiences begin to align, not by accident, but because they were always there, waiting for you to be ready to see them. This is not about gaining power over others. It is not about escaping reality. It is about mastery of yourself, your mind, and the forces that shape your life. The Hermetic teachings have survived because they are truth, and truth can never be destroyed. It can only be forgotten, waiting to be remembered by those who are ready. And if you've made it this far, if you feel this truth resonating deep inside you, then you already know you are meant to wake up. You were meant to see beyond the illusion. But now, the choice is yours. You can walk away, let this moment pass, and return to life as it was. Or you can step forward, take action, apply what you've learned, and begin the journey of true transformation. For those who are ready to go deeper, to uncover knowledge too powerful for public platforms, join Insights Academy, our free newsletter. And for a limited time, you'll receive a free copy of the Cyblium, the book they don't want you to read. Sign up now before this opportunity disappears. And if this message resonated with you, let the universe know by commenting below, I understood it. Because once you start seeing the truth, you will never be the same again.